Dreaming of the open road? Well, your first step is getting a learner's permit in Georgia, and we're here to guide you through it seamlessly. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to demystify every single step of obtaining your Georgia learner's permit from start to finish. Getting your permit is your very first step into the world of driving, and we're here to make sure you are fully prepared and completely confident before you even set foot in a customer service center. But hey, before you can just roll the windows down and cruise, you've got to navigate something called the Teenager and Adult Driver Responsibility Act, also known as TADRA. It's basically a graduated driver's licensing system set up in Georgia to systematically build your behind-the-wheel experience while keeping everybody safe. The entry-level phase of this whole system is the Class CP instructional permit. And look, holding this permit isn't just a formality. It's a strict statutory prerequisite for advancing to your full unrestricted license. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover eligibility and prep, getting ready for the exam, the actual application process, acing exam day, life with a permit, and finally, some common pitfalls to avoid. All right, let's jump right into Phase 1, eligibility and preparation. So the standard age to apply for the Class C permit in Georgia is 15, but there is a super specific and really important exception here. The age requirement actually drops to 14 if your parent or legal guardian is legally blind. In that unique case, the state offers a specialized visually impaired parent permit to help facilitate transportation for the household, following some specialized medical clearance, of course. Now, let's talk paperwork. Because of strict federal Real ID rules, you absolutely must bring original paper documents. Seriously, let me repeat that because it is crucial. No photocopies allowed. You're going to need one proof of identity, like a certified original birth certificate with a raised seal, or a valid U.S. passport. You also must know and provide your full Social Security number. On top of that, you need 2 proofs of Georgia residency. These can be things like utility bills or phone bills dated within the last 6 months that show your name or your parents' name and your street address. And if you're a non-citizen, you'll also need specific unexpired immigration documents to prove lawful status, like an unexpired foreign passport with a valid U.S. visa and an I-94 form. If you're under 18, which, let's face it, most permit applicants are, you also need to present a notarized certificate of school enrollment. It's officially known as Form DS-1, and you get this directly from your school. But here is the catch. It must be signed by your school official within the last 30 days of your visit to the Department of Driver Services, or DDS. If it's older than 30 days, they simply won't accept it, and you'll be sent packing. Oh, and you can also bring a high school diploma or a GED if you happen to have already graduated.
Moving right along to Phase 2, preparing for the exam.
When you actually sit down for the test, you'll face 2 distinct modules, the road rules test and the road signs test. You've got to pass both to get your permit. The Road Rules module is going to test your understanding of traffic laws, safe maneuvers, and emergency procedures based on the Georgia Driver's Manual. The Road Signs module evaluates your visual ability to identify standard highway signs, regulatory signals, and road markings. Okay, Phase 3, the application process. Step 1 is highly recommended. You'll want to submit your permit form digitally beforehand. You can do this on the DDS website or by using their DDS2Go mobile app. When you pre-register digitally, your application stays active in their system for 60 days. This means when you finally arrive, they just pull up your file and you get to skip a massive amount of paperwork at the counter. Once that's done, grab all those original paper documents we just discussed and head over to the customer service center. Now, if you're a minor under 18, you can't just walk in and do this alone. A responsible adult literally has to physically go with you to the center to sign a responsible adult affidavit. They need to be at least 18 and have personal knowledge of who you are, so typically a parent or legal guardian. And here is a pretty powerful fact. The adult who signs this actually has the statutory authority to revoke your permit at any time for any reason whatsoever before you turn 18. So you might want to keep your grades up and do your chores. That brings us to Phase 4, acing exam day. First things first, you'll need to pay a non-refundable $10 fee before any testing begins. If you happen to fail any part of the test, well, that fee is not refunded and you're going to have to pay another $10 for your next attempt. The centers take cash, credit cards, debit cards, Apple Pay, and Google Pay. But keep in mind, they absolutely do not accept checks or money orders on site. Now, while appointments are strictly required for behind-the-wheel road tests later on, you actually don't need one for this written permit test. You can literally walk right in. However, you must arrive early. All written testing strictly stops 30 minutes before the center closes. Also, before you even sit for the written exam, you have to pass a mechanical vision screening right there at the counter.
Fail that, and they'll hand you a Form DSMR-274, that you'll have to take to a licensed eye doctor to complete before you can move forward. But once you pass the vision test and crush both modules of the knowledge exam, you'll get your photo taken and your permit will be issued right then and there.
All right, you passed. Let's talk about Phase 5, Life with a Permit. Your new permit is valid for a total of 2 years. But here's the kicker. To advance to your Class D provisional license, you must hold this permit for a mandatory minimum of 1 year and 1 day. During that entire time, you have to maintain a totally clean driving record with no major traffic violations that would result in a suspension. The state really wants to make sure you experience a full calendar year of seasonal changes, different weather conditions, and varied traffic densities while you're still under supervision. And speaking of supervision, the absolutely most important rule to remember is that you can never, ever drive alone. Unsupervised driving on a Class CP permit is strictly prohibited. You must always be accompanied by a fully licensed driver. Furthermore, the supervising driver has to be at least 21 years old, and they must be sitting right next to you in the front passenger seat. They can't chill in the back seat, and they definitely can't be 19 years old. It has to be a 21-plus licensed driver in the front seat, fully awake, and totally capable of taking control of the car if needed.
Almost done. Phase 6, pitfalls and conclusion.
So, what are the biggest mistakes applicants make? Honestly, they're usually just procedural. Number 1 is bringing photocopies of their birth certificate instead of the original certified copy. Number 2, letting their school enrollment form, that DS1, expire past that strict 30-day window. Number 3, forgetting that a responsible adult actually has to be there in person to sign the affidavit. And number 4, arriving at the center way too close to closing time and getting turned away because the testing system automatically shuts down 30 minutes before the doors close. Here's a pretty surprising fact for our out-of-state viewers who might be moving to Georgia. Under Georgia law, you generally have 30 days to transfer your out-of-state credentials once you establish residency. But if you are a minor transferring an active, unexpired learner's permit from another U.S. state, Georgia actually waives the written exam completely. Yep, you still have to pay the fee, pass the vision test, and provide all your identity and residency docs, but you get to skip the written knowledge test altogether. Just a quick heads up, all these procedural rules, fees, and requirements we've talked about were accurate as of August 2026. State laws and administrative procedures can absolutely shift over time, so you should always double-check the official Georgia Department of Driver Services website. That's dds.georgia.gov for any updates before you head out. If you follow the roadmap we laid out today, you're going to be behind the wheel in no time. But remember, the permit is just your ticket to the driver's seat. How you handle the responsibility is what actually makes you a driver. So, what are you most nervous or excited about for your upcoming test? Drop your thoughts and any questions in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy studying!